All right, welcome to Halitics. I'm Hal Ginsberg, and you see a lot of busy stuff going on behind me. Got the comics here. They are muted. You can see their mouths move, but you cannot hear what they say. But now I have unmuted them. So welcome, Liz, Sean, and Haywood. It's great to have you all with us on Halitics. By the way, if you want to join us, I'll try to take a call if I can. It's a lot of moving parts here. This is going to be a little bit tough for me. It's a struggle. Who am I kidding? Of course I can handle this. This is no problem. Liz, tell us who you brought with you, your comic friends.
Well, I have two swell close buddies that I work out with. My co-host for the debut show of Anacostia comedy presented by Black Egyptian DC at the We Act radio space on MLK Avenue is Haywood Turnipseed Jr. And headlining that night is the night in shining armor, a champion of 420, headliner around the world. He has toured. Mr. Sean Savoy, whose work I love. I love these men so well. They're my favorite comics in the world, right up there with Robin Williams. Maybe not in the same tax bracket.
Well, I mean, I don't think Robin Williams is in any tax bracket right now. He's 6 feet under, but I guess at one point, probably a lot of residuals. The last comedians you brought on, Liz, were your favorites of all time. So it seems you're a little bit flexible.
I don't work with people I don't like.
And favorites is plural, you know?
Yeah, that's
so
correct.
You're the headliner.
There are plenty more unfavorites.
You can see there it is, January 21st, Anacostia Comedy. I hope you can read it. It might be a little bit small. 2018, correct me, gents and lady, if I'm wrong. 2018, MLK Boulevard Southeast. And this is also sponsored, or it says AKA WeActRadio.com. Is that the headquarters of We Act, Haywood? And I see you nodding.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, that is the headquarters of We Act Radio, which is the
People's
radio station.
Are you all Washingtonians? Liz, you kind of have moved to New York. You're back and forth. Sean, you live in Washington your whole life. Is that correct?
I live in Columbia, Maryland.
Okay, and not too far.
It's right between Baltimore and DC, but I was born in DC though.
And there's a comedy show a comedy club in Columbia. Is that correct?
It's at Nottingham's Tavern every Friday at 9:00.
And you perform? Are you a regular?
Yeah, it's a comedy night that I produce.
And you're considered
and also perform there.
So do you guys?
It's a great venue.
Is it? Have you been there to perform, Liz?
Yes, Sean's invited me out numerous times, and it's a wonderful venue. I think he's hosting with comic Michael Walcott these days.
Yeah.
He has a lot of talented people, and there is a karaoke scene after the show. I hope that still flows. Yes. There are certain things like clockwork, and comedy is one of them because it's all about timing, and Sean picks the best.
Do you find at this time that comedy is bigger because times are tough? I mean, for a lot of people, I know there's a brew pub near me that has a comedy night. It always seems packed. That's Rock Bottom in Bethesda. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but I think they have a comedy night.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, I see you nodding.
Yeah, very familiar. I'll be there
Walter
this Saturday. I'll be there this Saturday at Rock Bottom.
Well, I'm going to make it over there.
Is that Walter Gottlieb?
No, it's a stand-up comedy to go. That's Kurt Shackelford's spot. And I think Danny Rouillet. I know Danny Rouillet is the headliner, scheduled to be the headliner this weekend. I'm the feature. I'm not sure who the host is, and then there's a couple of guest acts.
Well, that's Danny Rouillet is like a radio guy. He does sports talk, right?
He does. He does sports radio on 106.7 The Fan.
There you go. So I'm going to be over there, Haywood. I'm going to make it because I want to see you live, and that's so convenient for me. How's the crowd? Do you get a good crowd there in Bethesda when you perform, or have you performed there?
Yeah, I performed there. I've hosted there and guest spots there. Kurt gets a really good, tight crowd in that spot in there, and it's really nice. It's always fun.
It is. The Bethesda audience is great. They're a rough crowd because it's the mean gang streets of Bethesda. It's Kavanaugh turf.
Mo County.
You know, we've had our share of football fights, and it's amazing. They're not so maybe it's a higher tax bracket, but the kids there, like when you see Whitman and BCC play football, there's rumbles in the streets. Just like I've seen Wilson too, right? You get in it's not good. It's what's that about? Why are these high school? Is that just have kids always been like that, or are we seeing a different vibe on the streets?
I think it's military culture. I enjoy football. But football is definitely an indoctrination into military culture. There's their side, our teams. It's not something where you mutually enjoy everyone's talents. You're going there to root against the other team. So that's just my pacifist take on it.
There is that, and I think to add to that, that it's the yours, mine's, ours, right? There's also the aspect of you have teams who are just that. Remember those ages where you're becoming a human being?
Yeah.
So all of those energies need someplace to go. All of that testosterone, all of that estrogen, and the mixes thereof, because there are mixes thereof. Put all of that in a pot and you call it high school. It doesn't matter what the sport is. It could be chess, it could be debate, it could be glee. It's going to be us versus them because we're figuring out who we become. So one of the things that I think that Western culture has been good at, to follow what Liz's train of thought there about militaristic and those doctrines. America has done a really good job of finding a place to put that energy until that energy is ready to be put to use, which was what we call the workforce. So you get people together, getting them choosing sides, and then they become Democrats and Republicans, and so on and so on and so on. I work for GE. I work for Tesla. I'm either a conservative or we could go on and on and on, right? But it does put that. It's a place to put that energy because it always is a us versus them thing.
And TikTok plays a small role in this, right?
It's huge. Well, TikTok reports it all, right? That's the thing. Is like you got to be able to see it. You got to be able to see it.
So you guys think social media is creating even more dissension, anger, isolation in our society? Is that without putting words in anybody's mouth?
I don't think it's creating more. I think it's making us more aware that it's out there.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Because before it was all hidden and everything. Before it was there before. It was just all hidden before. Now at least we have an idea where it might be coming from and shit.
Yeah, we live in a very real time where we can see real time exactly who we are and how we're doing. You don't have to wait for the Pony Express to get news from New York City. Or we can see. We can see right now, especially through these social media mediums. We can see exactly what's happening in, let's say, Israel and Gaza.
You could get robbed. You could get robbed. You could get robbed by someone on the street, and then later on see the posting of your robbing. Like, oh shit, that's me getting robbed. Oh shit, I got like 30 likes. Damn.
Right, that's the footage.
We robbed that nigga. We robbed that nigga. And they throw some shades on me and shit. Like, look at this weak guy.
You have them with the footage of them walking up to rob the person, right? And then the person was on their phone going, "Hey, this is me getting robbed." And then they go back to the footage of, "Hey, this is what we did when we robbed the person. What we got from robbing them."
It's not. It's generally not smart, right, to film yourself committing crimes. I think The Simpsons did an episode about that, but maybe I don't know. Are the police just standing down, not going? I don't know. I mean,
they stood down for Donald Trump when he committed stochastic terrorism from his presidential platform in the name of selling papers. They ignore a lot of.
Define stochastic, Liz. I don't know what stochastic means. What does that mean?
Well, a stochastic terrorist is someone that inspires other people to do their dirty work. So when Donald Trump, or I like to call him Orange Julius, it makes him go down better. But gotta swallow it. Caesar. Yeah, Orange Julius Caesar salad. Orange Julius Caesar word salad said from the pulpit. Next time you arrest someone, give them an extra knock on the head for me. That could be considered stochastic terrorism. He's inspiring cops to beat people. Another stochastic terrorist command, one might suggest, is stand back and stand by. I certainly took that after years of listening to him encourage people to be violent as an actual command to the evolutionary wonders crawling out from under their rock to engage our system in the most evolved way they are able to. Let us pray for their DNA in the name of John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Oh my goodness. Can't we all just have a double helix? So that's what stochastic terrorism is.
How do you make that stuff funny? Because that's sort of my question. Obviously, times are really tough. And comics always are, addressing the contemporary scene. So let me go to you, Sean. How do you make Donald Trump funny? Or does he is he the gift that keeps on giving comedically?
I mean, like, I just look at it like everything else. Like, I don't like. I mean, it all depends on like how you're trying to make him funny. I mean, if I was trying to make bits about him, like a skit about him, or like. But he's like a character and a personality. So like any strong character and a personality is very easy for comedians to jump on.
I had a dream about him the other day.
Yeah, his look, his hair, everything,
Yeah, I was going to say, you pick out, it's like a caricature, right? You pick out some particular
I almost feel like trait. It's like too easy. Like it's like a setup and shit. Like, like we're going to make this fucking crazy looking dude come out and you better not say nothing about him. You better not say anything about him. It's like his hair's barely hanging in there, baggy ass, terrible suits, and like speak, tiny lips. All the he's like ready to be roasted. Yeah, but that's why
he has been roasted, right? He even has.
Yeah, and also that's why he comes out of the gate roasting too. And see that makes it even better because like he's not a innocent bystander. Like he can handle it. So like they should just have straight up roast debates, just get to the punch and shit, so you can
I thought Obama was pretty funny,
that's like
right?
true pressure, that'd be like
Obama
true
was pretty
pressure.
funny. He would tell jokes. They seemed to be amusing. I understood they were all written for him though, right? I mean, it's hard to be you have to be a pro. Is that fair to say? Haywood, you're going to agree with that?
Yeah. Well, off the cuff, I think everyone is funny, right? Everyone is especially around their friends and family. We just happen to see these people in public. So when you're able to speak in public and, put a sense of yourself in there, that's what a sense of humor is. That's how we connect to the public. It's just we tell funny stories about things we've gone through, or make light of or bring to the light things we've gone through that we all share in as part of this human experience. So it is hard to try to prepare for an audience, but then once you learn to tap into that, that's that planned spontaneity that's spoken about, like in the comedy Bible. It is. And then when you see someone like Trump, you're like, this is for a comedian, you're like, this is really? Are you serious? This is what you're giving me? You know? But then when you have somebody like Obama, they come off a lot more personable, right? So people let their guards down and allow themselves to be in those type of laughing moments.
Well, I put some headlines together to see what kind of jokes or humor we can glean from what isn't necessarily very funny. So that's what we're maybe get into a little bit. We're talking to 3 comedians today on Halitics: Liz Croydon, Sean Savoy, and Haywood Turnipseed Jr. So mention Trump. Liz bringing these 2 gentlemen together on the program with me. If you want to give a call, I will take a call or 2 if I get them. 240-242-5646 will go until 1. There is going to be a lot of information about their upcoming program in Anacostia. That's January. That's the 21st. So that's, today is what? Sunday. Sunday. So you'll be
Sunday night.
Haywood, you'll be in Bethesda, and then you got to make the trek downtown and across the river to Anacostia.
Yeah, I live up the street. I live up the street from the place. So
Hal, are we supposed to be seeing you right now?
You aren't seeing me. You should have been, because I didn't press start virtual.
Yeah, there we go.
But everyone can see you, but you couldn't see me. But now you can. I had failed to. I don't know why I didn't press that button. Anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks for bringing that up, Sean. If there are any tech issues, please let me know, because we want to correct those as quickly as possible. Haywood, let me ask you this, because I notice you're from Indiana. Is Indiana generally a hotbed of comedy? I know David Letterman, right, is from the Hoosier state. Any other funny Indianans we can think about?
Yeah, David Letterman is from there. Mike Epps is from Indiana. Buddy mine, Dwight. What is Dwight? I said Simmons is from Indiana. So Indiana is one of those places where, in my mind, I mean, me growing up, I grew up in Gary, Indiana, which is kind of like in the armpit of Chicago.
It's a rough city, right? I mean, it's
a
like
rough city. It's on the outskirts of Chicago, but
Jackson
it's the armpit of Indiana. Jackson 5 left there, right? And that's what we know about it. But then they wrote songs about going back, and kind of only did that sporadically, which is what you do. It's a small black town in Indiana, which is a largely, of course, white state, Republican, and Gary's a Democratic city. One of the first cities in America had a black mayor. So you get that happening in the 80s when you start getting that pushback from Reaganomics and Reagan era, right? That happened on their watch in our neighborhood when I was growing up. So comedy for me is that outlet, for somebody like Letterman and those cats. I'm not sure exactly. Letterman is from Central Indiana, and I know Mike Epps is from Indianapolis. You're in between Kentucky and you're near Ohio and Illinois, so it's all of that country, but it's all of that what they call now the Rust Belt. So Freddie Gibbs is from Gary, Indiana, great MC. You start getting that from Indiana, because that was what was happening. The steel mills and people coming to work. People had a lot of money, and then they lost a lot of money. And as that happened, hopefully some funny came out of it.
And Dave Chappelle's from neighboring Ohio, I believe. I could be wrong about that. So kind of a.
And how you're from DC?
I actually grew up in Westchester County, New York. I was born in Manhattan. And then, we lost Woody Seed there. That's, by the way, the ats are your Instagram pages, your Twitter feeds, that kind of thing. Is that what we're for the IDs?
Mine is Twitter. Yes.
Mine's for Twitter. Mine's for everything. Cash App.
Yeah. I should have made it all consistent.
Instagram.
We lost Hayseed there. Hayseed Turnipwood. There he comes back.
Is.
Listen, I had to take a call. My DC.
Wow.
They was like, you talking about Indiana?
Yeah. We're losing you. You keep moving around. Stay in your seat. Stay in the middle there so I can see you right there in the middle. Haywood, thank you so much. Yeah, no, Sean, I grew up outside New York City, and I've lived in the DC area since around 1988, 87.
Are you guys Washington fans?
I am a loather of the football team here. Used to like them, but when the new owner,
Haywood,
who's
are
now
you?
the old owner.
I'm a Steelers fan, man. I'm a Steelers fan. Steel Mills. So, from Gary, Indiana, when I was 16, my family moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yeah, so living in Pittsburgh, I'm a Steelers fan,
Yeah, because you hear they're going to, we're possibly going to get Redskins back. They found it not to be racist.
That's interesting.
It was actually named after a warrior, and he named himself Redskin.
Oh.
He looks like him. So, like, because it did seem kind of weird, too, because, like, the Redskins, Washington would have the only racist team name. You know what I'm saying? Like, no other team would, like, take, like, oh, we're only going to make fun of Indians. Like, there wouldn't have, no other team would have taken a chance on, like, another racist team. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like, hey, let's just make fun of Indians. Let's keep it low key. If we start making fun of blacks and Asians and all kinds of other stuff, we're going to draw a lot of attention to ourselves. We can get away with an Indian.
I call it the Jefferson Sessions
count
Directive.
our blessings where we got them. We got one racist thing in there. I think this one's going to fly.
We killed a lot of them already.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's one of those things, man. That's one of those things. Because here's one. I was just in it's wild because as you're saying this, I was in a symposium recently where someone was talking about how the term Redskin came from where, and this is graphic, people used to have to show that they killed an Indian, and by doing so, have a lump off a piece of their skin. So if you have those red skins, you have proof that and they were getting paid for this for lack of better term. So what's wild to me is the fact that the team that was the last team to bring in black players to the National Football League is one of the teams that have one of the names that's extremely controversial.
Yeah, it is
extremely controversial to say the least.
Yeah.
But you also have the Chicago Blackhawks. You have the Kansas City Chiefs. You have
why would everybody
Florida
only
Seminoles.
choose, like, I don't get what only trying to be racist towards Indians is about with every league. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be like
they killed a lot.
Like, there's no like Jacksonville Jungle Bunnies or any like, you know what I'm saying? Like not even like, you know what I'm saying? Not even like
what was the term I heard before? Cucamonga
like,
cracker.
why would every league just target to make fun of Indians? You know,
there aren't a lot of them. I mean, I don't know. Do you think Chiefs? I feel like I will not say the Washington football team's former name because I just feel like it's a slur. But and
also,
I don't
like,
think
why
Chiefs
would a team want
is
to be
bad.
a racist thing? You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
here's the thing about
they'd want to be a warrior. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't want to be like, hey, we want to be known as the maker funners of people. You know what I'm saying?
One of the things
you know
that
like,
the British
even if an owner was trying to get away with like a little racist name, like why would he even want to be like named after something that was like whack? He'd want to be like a warrior or like a strong, force. What? You know what I'm saying? So like when they're naming them, they're thinking of that. You know what I'm saying? Like a Redskin is like a strong, powerful warrior, not like a piece of flesh that was, you know what I'm saying? But we're
hearing this, and I do have to stop. I do. Because you're hearing it from the side of the champion, the winner, right? And the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter until the lion tells its tale. So as we hear from those groups, as we hear from those folks, and they're like, hey, as we hear the stories, and they go, we never even got the opportunity to say whether or not it was or wasn't offensive. That to me is where it starts. Even when we look at Chiefs, right? And we say, well, that's not but a caricature. If there was a team called the Zulus, which is a very powerful South African tribe. You want to be a Zulu warrior. You know what I mean? But if it had the images of Zulus as well, right? And when I say the images, now you have the head of a Zulu on the head of whomever's playing on that team. You have the Zulu colors, and you have the shields and the spears and people dressing up. At some point, you get Swatsa Pete, which is what you have in the Netherlands with the black character who is supposedly the helper of Santa Claus. So until you get the story from the people who it's being told about, it's always going to have a slant that just doesn't jive with me, which is why I'm like, any of those names. We haven't heard from Vikings to say we don't like that. But where are the Vikings? They're gone, right? Which is why we can use the name Vikings. You know what I mean? If someone calls you a Viking.
Patties, Guidos.
There we go.
Crackers, honkies. Yeah. I wanted the Washington Redskins to be called the Indigenous, just Indigenous. Like the Indigenous are at the 10-yard line. Oh my God, they're taking back their land.
They're taking back.
They're gaining ground. The Indigenous are gaining ground.
Touchdown.
You know what? It's funny
I heard people defend the name. I never could get that. I mean, it sounds like you guys agree that this is not acceptable. Maybe I'm wrong, but I heard people say, and I don't think Braves is as bad. Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like naming teams after groups that have been, exterminated or been subject to genocide.
We call them Braves. We called them Braves. They didn't call themselves Braves. They called themselves something entirely different. So if we're paying homage to a group, then we want to use terminology that they would be comfortable.
Then that's great. I take it back. It's not okay.
I want to interject.
So like if they had like black people being like the Fast,
nuts.
Instead of like the Braves, like the Fast, it had this like a little black dude like running fast and shit on the side of the helmet.
If you have as a Brave, if you have a white man going
we're
to
saying that you're fast.
Land,
it's not racist. We're saying that you're fast.
I would have made it. Here's me. I would have made the logo just exactly what it should be. A white man going into a land full of red people going, I'm taking this. Ain't nothing
that's brave.
Ain't nothing braver. I'm coming.
White dude
the fighting Karens
on the horizon on the side of the helmet. It'd be like a white dude with a
fighting Karens. The fighting Karens. Somebody with a cell phone.
Fighting Karens. That's my roller derby team.
That's my
So Liz, you want to get in on this, Liz? I know you're chomping at the bit. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I wanted to say, as a martial artist, one of the things regarding naming all of these teams after warriors, chiefs, etc., is that they're defeated and. Or that the Indigenous were defeated by the British. And the British, many of them, when they conquer, like to name things after the conquered. And it's like consuming their power. And growing from their power. But they put up a great fight. There's a lot of things we can learn from them. But we destroyed them.
Are Indians the only warriors that we know around? I mean, in America. I mean, because
ninjas.
There's no Civil Warriors or any of that kind of shit.
Civil Warriors.
Civil Warriors. Oh my God, that's my pacifist. That's my pacifist ultimate
the
frisbee
Chicago
team.
Civil Warriors.
The Civil Warriors. Wait a minute. Can we let's play something where nobody gets hurt? Yeah. The Civil Warriors.
And ultimate frisbee. Who the niggas at the Boston Tea Party, yo, that will call that?
The Confederates.
There's the running rebels.
Our history of warriors are all horrible.
What do you call them? The founders?
Yeah, we have a horrible
founding fathers.
Founding fathers would be awful too.
Founding fathers. The founding fathers are at
That'd be a scary ass team to go against, though. Yo, we got the founding fathers next week, yo. Fuck that.
What do you call it? What they do have there is a team called the Colonials. Like Robert Morris, if I'm not mistaken, called themselves the Colonials. New England's are the Patriots.
Oh, the Patriots.
Amazons. The Amazons.
The Patriots.
It's my basketball team.
The Trojans.
Is that the only kind of like?
Trojans.
Are the Patriots considered American?
Oh right? Yeah, you look at the helmet. It's like a guy.
Only
it's like
if they're winning.
Colonial outfit,
waka.
snapping the football. Las Vegas is the running rebels. You have rebels, so you do have kind of a Confederate. The Raiders.
Vegas Raiders.
What are the Raiders? Are Raiders pirates or what
Pirates.
are they?
Raiders.
I mean, I was just throwing out pirates and Raiders. When I think of raiding, I think of pirates. I think of Vikings. I mean, are Vikings pirates? These are things I want to fight about.
That name hasn't gotten canceled either because pirates are all rapists and thieves and you know what I'm saying like.
So tell us about. Let's get to the comedy a little bit. The 21st Sunday. Who's going to talk about this? So your lineup, you three obviously are the humorists, And you're the featured comic, right, Sean? What does that mean? If you're like, what did you call it?
Sean
Liz?
is the headliner.
The headliner.
He's the headliner.
Does that mean you're the most famous? You bring the most people to the into the room, basically?
No. I mean, it basically means that I'll be going on the longest and probably last.
It means he's circumcised.
Yes.
I mean,
do you have to prove that to the crowd? I mean, is that, what's the demonstration? Like we were talking about the name of the football team, you had to prove that they were like, you could be the foreskin, is that it, or something like that?
Yes. You can peel me up or down. You can leave crumb inside of me.
You appeal to many audiences.
All right, so there it is. Yeah, Sean Savoy, Gotham Lives. What is Gotham Lives? Gotham Lives? Is that
he's Batman.
True?
It was Gotham Comedy Live. That was my TV debut. It was a show that was on the Comedy Central, like back in the day.
Oh, I see. So that Gotham Lives
is filmed at the Gotham Comedy Club in New York, and they called the show Gotham Comedy Live.
I got it. So the Gotham Lives is like describing you. Gotham Lives, Sean Savoy headlining. I gotcha. They didn't like, it's like LGBTQIA comic Anthony Oakes, Gotham Lives, Sean Savoy headlining. So I was
like, Sean Savoy, hold on.
I wanted to.
Go ahead. Sorry, Liz.
I wanted to interject and say that I did Mr. Oakes. I'm not going to say it bad because I like to think of it as me letting everyone know that, he's a catch. But everyone else got their credits mentioned. And I wanted to establish that we're running an LGBTQIA friendly party, which is why I invited Anthony Oakes, and I only invite people that I find the funniest comics. So I never really knew Mr. Oakes' bio, and he didn't really get back to me in time to write anything but the fact that he is a fearless, fierce, outspoken diva for the LGBTQIA community who has played the Apollo. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
The Improv, the Kennedy Center.
Mm-hmm.
And what, Haywood?
And he hosts 7 Black Minutes every last Friday, right on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, right up the street from WeAct Radio, at Bus Sports and Poets.
Oh, snap.
Anthony's very dope. And he's an A student.
And he's my favorite. He's my favorite office humorist, if he is still doing his office humor sketches on his Instagram. Yeah. I mean, he is an incredible artist, and he loves other artists, which is... Speaking of other artists, Sean has a guest.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's little Sean up in the house. How's everyone doing? Hi,
little Sean.
Haywood.
Hey, little Sean.
What's up, Hal? How you doing over there?
What's up, nephew?
Hey, Sean.
I feel like we're on the Brady Bunch over here.
Hey, little Sean. Little Wayne, little Sean. That's good. That's excellent. I love the pink hair.
I'm looking at all my brothers and sisters in my family, shit. I don't see my dad nowhere, though. We're missing some of the squares on our Brady Bunch thing right here.
He's holding you. He's always with you. He's holding you down.
I heard we were talking about weed.
Talk about
weed. Is that true?
Always. Weed are the world. Weed are the children. We are playing a 420 friendly room. If you pay the $20 cover, not only do you get Emmy-nominated writer Leon Scott, who we haven't discussed, showtime at the Apollo Theater, Kennedy Center, and Improv, Anthony Oakes.
Yes.
This handsome mini Sean, Haywood Turnipseed Jr., Little Sean, Little Sean, Haywood Turnipseed Jr., and I forgot what I was saying because I got excited.
That you can see us all January 21st.
Oh yeah, when you pay your $20, you can get hi, bring your own
you
bud.
Can get hi.
Hi, BYOB, bring your own bud. Hi.
I like that.
And for those who have for those who live in the city and have their car, also in Maryland, there is dispensary, also called Anacostia Organics, right on Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue, up the street from We Act Radio, which is, I believe, 1910 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue.
So Anacostia's come back a little too, hasn't it? Because I've been over there a few times, and I have to say, you know, I used to work for the DC government. Sean, you were asking me about my history back in the early 90s. I went to law school here, and it was, you know, downtown was tough. Anacostia was rough. And I used to go over there for the DC government to St. Elizabeth's Hospital, and actually did a little work for Mayor Barry. Did a little work at his house there overlooking the river. He's dead now.
Wow.
Actually, very nice guy.
I live right around the corner from there. I live
very
right
nice
around the corner
guy.
from
that.
But it was in a great area for a guy who looked like me, to be honest with you. And I don't know about anyone else. But I've been over there a few times, and it does seem like, you know, there's a lot more businesses. It's a little more vibrant.
Is it safe now, Haywood? Is it fully safe now?
Well, let's say, I know exactly what Hal is talking about, Mayor Barry's house. I live right around the corner from there. That is a beautiful home that overlooks the river. And Hal, probably back when you were coming, they probably thought you worked for DC government or were a coach recruiting
I never had any
athletes.
trouble. I want to tell you right now, no one ever gave me any
issues. Thought he was a coach
nothing.
recruit walking out.
They thought he was a coach recruiting athletes. So most you know, really, you probably wouldn't have had.
That's how you survive in black neighborhoods. You just walk with a clipboard, like
walk with a clipboard
and
look for Raheem.
Yeah,
look for Raheem.
I never had any issues.
University of
honestly.
South Carolina. I'm looking for Raheem Daha. That's how you survive and shit.
I think it was probably more safe for me than folks who lived there. No one ever.
Y'all don't want to beat me up. Y'all don't want to beat me up. Don't want one of y'all to make it out of this neighborhood.
Yeah.
This nigga has a chance if you all let me live. This nigga has a chance if you let me live.
Kill coaches.
I was in Anacostia for the Christmas market, and there's an art space right around the corner from We Act Radio. I think it's called Anacostia Arts Center.
Anacostia Arts Center, yes. There's a playhouse on the other side.
Yeah, they had a whole community drumming circle going for Christmas. A lot of individual artists coming out of the woodwork showing their work. Yeah,
you've had a lot of people.
It was a little rumpa-pum-pum.
A little
rumpa-pum-pum.
Yeah.
Rumpa-pum-pum-pum. Hey, I was thinking when you're talking about your gated community.
Oh, I live in a gated community.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, you could say, like, every year that it gets more and more gentrified, you guys start taking, like, one bar down.
Oh my goddess! Oh my goddess!
That's what I said. That's how I know we're ready to move when we move out of our gated community. By taking the bars off of the house.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just want to, you know, this is the thing about that. It is definitely nicer if you live there. You know, it's just safer, it's cleaner, but it's also more expensive, right? I mean, folks are getting pushed out of every area. A friend of mine from Detroit was telling me that. Who's actually lives outside Detroit, but you know, that's one of the roughest cities. Cleveland, these areas where you had vibrant, if maybe not always safe, Black communities and other communities of color. Now they're pushed out. It's a big problem. And you know, I don't know what you do about that. I mean, we got to have housing for everybody is the answer.
We Act Radio did a series called Her Story, which is archived in the DC libraries. It was headed by Deborah I want to say Brown.
Is that her story instead of his story?
Yes.
Okay.
And Courtney Dow ran it, and We Act Radio and Kimon Freeman, the owner of We Act Radio, served the women as a means to tell their stories of being unhoused. And it was a group of Black women. I was a token honky, sharing their stories about what they have been through and survived with domestic violence and what have you. And the shelter and the organizations in Anacostia for women are exceptional. And DC really does deserve props in what they do for women survivors. And I learned so much from that organization and from We Act Radio, and that's what Kimon does. He founded, Kimon Freeman founded the Black Love Festival. I'm not certain, it's not confirmed. I heard rumors he may run for office. I don't really know about that, and it's not my announcement, but I would love to see him, you know, run for shadow senator or something. Those who know don't say, those who say don't know, but he's flying the Palestinian flag over his radio station right now. Shalom, homies.
I'm going to try to turn Sean on. Sean, you okay over there? We got a lot of blinking and you're moving around. Is there some issue with your system?
There was a mark on my screen, so I was proceeding to wipe it off because it was very distracting.
Was it my makeup? Is my makeup on?
I'm sorry if we're distracting you. That is a terrible problem. All right, so no, the homeless issue, I would tell you, I have a lot of positive feelings towards the DC government. I think it gets a lot of disrespect, but when I worked there, the commitment to the kids of the city, I started working in child abuse and neglect, and then moved over to representing employees in lawsuits. But there was a tremendous commitment, and also I always felt like the police were really. I never saw any. You know, you always hear all the horror stories about cops, and I did see some of that when I defended them in suits against, you know, for violence, but. When it came to the kids, the detectives there, they were all pros. We would go out into families and try to, and no one ever tried to break up families, right? I mean, the last thing we wanted was to take kids from their parents, because that just meant more work for us, more issues. You tried to keep kids with families. Sadly, sometimes there were caretakers who were not able to take care of their kids. But I felt like the government there was very responsible and did the best they could with challenging situations. So what about global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it? Where's the humor there? Do you want to tell us what's funny about ever hotter temperatures, Sean?
Hey, global warming. Hey, the other day I told my wife about global warming. She said, "Get the hell out of here."
He said, "I'm getting warmer. I'm getting hotter every day."
Icebergs, what are they anyways? A big ice cube in the snow? Why do we give a fuck if it melts?
Right.
I do hear that. That does. That is a sentiment, right? So it's glad. I'm glad it's too cold now.
Where it's going next time? Oh.
The humor is in it is that it's happening to all of us, and some people don't believe in it, right?
Yeah.
But it's happening to all of us. I mean, if we don't have an Earth,
I just don't know what exactly.
Not another Earth.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be believing or like seeing or noticing. You know what I mean? Like what are we supposed to like? Oh shit! What's the effect it's supposed to be having on us that we're supposed to be feeling?
You know, it's Mother Nature in menopause is what it is.
I mean,
there's definitely climate change.
If today, if today, the weather changed to all of a sudden it was 100 degrees and all the snow melted and everything. It was 100 degrees and they see, that's that climate change. That's what I've been telling y'all. See, the weather can't be just changing like that. You know,
that's kind of what you have, the science part about it. You know, you have changing landscapes, right? So you have coastal countries that may or may not be here with the projections that are ongoing. So as that happens, you also have these rapid changes where even the release of germs and viruses that have been dormant for X amount of time will change the landscape and topography of the current world we live in. So when you get into, remember the movie Superman, the last one with Russell Crowe?
Yeah,
They had a change world engine. The world engine, is, they had the ability to change
the terraformer.
Terraforming. Yeah. That always happens on Earth, but we Earthlings in the last 100 years, I was talking about steel mills earlier, within the last 150 years in the industrial age, have increased terraforming and terra changing tenfold. And in doing so, we've changed the planet for ourselves and our foreseeable future.
So is it things that
the only valuable water is the Great Lakes in America. The only valuable water, the only freshwater source are the Great Lakes. Now you have ponds and rivers and things like that, but they all come from these other same sources. And as they filter through these other sources, if those things change and they're unfiltered, just like you have those movies where water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. The humor is you better learn to swim or you better grow gills because at some point.
So like, is that like the overall thing? Like, is there's like all these things happening that we're just not noticing yet, and then all of a sudden we're gonna be ruined, kind of a thing?
Well, we do notice it, right? You notice it these past winters with lack of snow and lack of water, and then all of a sudden you get these torrentials. We see it, but we're not affected collectively enough in order for it to really affect change on the mindset of more than just putting our recyclables out.
So like, are these
think about
landscapes?
It, from when we grew up putting our recyclables out, people didn't do that in our time. It became a movement, and now people are doing that. Same thing with solar. It's one of those things that people didn't do and that people are starting to do. As you get more into that's why I think the next set of jobs really exists in that green stuff. But again, also capitalism is also taking things to the brink so that when there is a tipping point, you can sell it to folks.
I'm selling apocalypse insurance. Once again, I'm going to take this opportunity to say, if you buy into my Helsinki apocalypse insurance program, you will get a monster truck, a male and female guinea pig for an easy breeding meat supply, and a gallon and a half of gas with the equipment to siphon other people's gas.
All right, I want to promote you guys again. We got about 10 more minutes left. We're going to end at 1 sharp. So East Coast time. Anacostia Comedy is this Sunday, the 21st. I hope that is right. Because
we are welcome to do the comedy show in my bunker if y'all don't feel safe.
Jan 21. So we'll have directions. If you come to the door, there'll be directions. You can go to at Savoy's World Instagram for directions to Sean's bunker, and then Woody Seed and E. Croydon.
Beneath my parents' basement. Beneath my parents' basement. 6 stories.
I've been in his parents' basement. You do want to hang out there.
The bunker is beautiful, though. It's 6 stories down.
That's a great place to hang out.
Beautiful Columbia. I'm impressed that guy
beautiful from Columbia.
Yes.
I was saying I was impressed that guy Busboys and Poets put
Anthony Oaks.
What's his name? He put that store down in Anacostia. That's really good. So he's been he's all over the district.
He's all over,
on K Street. He's at Catholic University. So pretty cool.
Andy Shalab.
Shalab.
I like what he does.
I love his work.
He has a place out there in Columbia.
Yeah.
There is one in Columbia too.
He's a beautiful
there's one
person.
in Columbia. There's one in Virginia, Charlotte. I mean, it's a chain.
Speaking of beautiful people, our opener on Sunday is Leon Scott, an Emmy-nominated writer who worked with Haywood and Greg Godbout's space in D.C. for a bit.
My cousin. My beautiful cousin, Leon Scott.
I didn't know he was your cousin. Of course he's cool. He's one of the greatest comedians ever. He's on Washington, D.C. television a lot, right? Am I right about that, Haywood?
Yeah. He used to work with DC9.
He just started a new job.
He started a new job, and he was secretive about it. So I'm not sure where it's
at. I want to find out.
This area, it's like, where are you working at? I could tell you, but I know. Right. You can tell me, but then I'd have to tweet it.
Right. I'm a janitor. I sell books to kids in schools in Iowa from an office right around the corner from the White House.
Iowa Street. But we'll be down there right there at the We Act Radio on MLK, like Liz was saying. They do have the Palestinian flag out front.
How will you be coming to the show?
Look at that.
I'm going to go see Haywood Saturday. I'm committed to
at
that.
Rock bottom.
I don't know if I'm going to make it down to Anacostia on Sunday. It's there's football. I don't know if there might be something I want to watch, but I might make it up to Columbia. That sounds good too, Sean, actually.
Yeah.
And I've seen Liz. I saw Liz at the West Side Comedy Show, West Side Comedy Club. That was excellent. Liz, you did. We loved it. I had a great time.
Thank
That
you.
was
Felicia
really fun.
Madison is really fun to work with. I was just there doing Adam Gable's show, who opened for me at the Church of Hanover. Not Ripe Bananas. He is Kelly Zemnicki's boyfriend. And I'm just really excited.
Church of Satire.
Church of Satire. Thank you, Haywood. Excuse me.
Church of Satire.
That was in Hanover, right? The Church of Satire in Hanover. In Hanover, PA.
I say Church of Hanover. Well,
They make chips.
Church of Hanover.
They do. They make those Snyder's
hand over your
chips.
money. Hand over your funny.
Hand over your funny. You know what? I think you just put together a series. You got to sell at the gym. Hand over your funny. Hand over your money. Hand over your funny.
How do you get to be a comedian? Like, is this you're born to it, or do you make yourself one? I'm just curious about that because a lot of us want to be funny, but it's hard to be funny.
You know how like superheroes one day they just get a calling, and then you have to answer.
Somebody has to kill your parents in an alley and try to steal their pearls. And then you have to go down this deep, dark spiral of humanity and find your own soul. And when you find your soul, you find out what they say in this Yiddish proverb that I love, which is what soap is to the body, laughter is to the soul. When you hit rock bottom, you know, what's left but you and you. And that's where our emotions are, right? So that's what laughter is. I think that's how you become a comedian. But how you become a comic, a professional, you actually have another sense of crazy on top of that, because there are a lot of people out there who are funny. There's always a funny person at work, a funny person at school. There's always that person that sees the world with a slant. But then how you become a working comedian, you have an extra layer of trauma on you. because now you want to put this in front of people.
I mean, I think it's so hard. I like sometimes think I say things that are funny, but my timing is so off. I mean, there's so many different factors, and I like a lot of it's just natural, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, you're hilarious, though. You are hilarious. Here's one thing I love to say. All funny people are smart, but all smart people aren't funny. So that translation of when we start thinking about being funny, we lose the reasons why we are funny. And that's just one of those things in the universe. When you start looking at a problem, it kind of dissipates. When you start looking, quantum theory, when you start looking at the answer to it and you think you're close enough to it, 2 or 3 more answers appears because it separates and dissipates. We're not supposed to find out what being funny is. We're supposed to just go be funny. The hardest thing to do, though, is to be yourself in front of other people. So this is why I say you go through this time where you are not funny at all to anyone. So you have this extra layer of fuck it.
unless not being yourself is being yourself, which I think which is what every Washingtonian identifies with. When they have many layers of classified information. Like, I had to go over my jokes with Haywood. I was like, can I bring out the classified stuff? Am I working under an alias on this show?
She's absolutely right. You can act like it.
I was just thinking of Johnny Carson, because he was a guy who, by all accounts, was kind of a jerk out when he wasn't on TV. He was like a mean drunk. Ed McMahon would have to rescue him in bar fights. But on TV, it was like he was a different person. He was genial, affable. And you're saying you have to be yourself. So maybe he is himself on TV when he's a nice guy. That's the side of him that's a nice guy. I don't know.
But that's for 23 hours, for the other 23 hours of the day. Coming up to him like he's doing that 1 hour of that day. So by the time you come up to him at hour 12 and, you know, he's out and he's drunk and he's chilling, he's like, I'm just getting off work just like you. But then there's also the price of celebrity and fame and stuff like that. So there's different things.
I wanted to be an actress for a very long time and disciplined myself from the age of 8 to around 23 to be an actress. But by then I found out that the world was so fucked up and that tragedy was so easy and common. And actually feeling good about yourself and enjoying life, such an act of rebellion. That is what I wanted to inspire. And that is when I went into comedy and started to learn to write jokes, because I started noticing that laughter is not accepted everywhere. That feeling confident without worrying about your makeup or you're fitting into what someone else is projecting as success, is an act of rebellion. And so, I'm a revolutionary, and I intend to televise my revolution.
Excuse me, you bring up how effed up things are, and I didn't want anyone to try to make endless war and it's just genocide funny. But is it hard to be funny? Is it hard to go on stage? Do you feel like contemporary events, or if you live in, you're going through a rough patch, you're not getting a lot of bookings, does that make it hard to be funny? And let me start with you, Haywood, and then we'll go down to Sean. I know finish with Liz.
Like
reading the papers and seeing, there was like a mass shooting or something. Does that make it harder for you to go on stage and tell jokes?
No, because the people who come during tragedies really come to just let out steam and enjoy themselves. So, case in point, during the furlough, I went and told jokes about being furloughed during the furlough, and it was cathartic for me. And it was cathartic for the audience, because it was just like, oh, we can connect to somebody who's actually going through it, and get a small taste of what it would be like to experience it for ourselves. Now, in my case, it was like I have to make hard decisions, like, am I going to keep Hulu or Netflix? These are trying times. These are problems. I gotta, and I'm coming up on the pandemic. I really got to think about this shit.
Oh my goddess! Oh my goddess!
Who's going to stream in my home? How happy do I want my children to be with me? So when you look at the world and like that through, like Liz was saying, I do try to look at it through rose-colored glasses, because at the end of the day, laughter is the best medicine. It really is. You know what I mean? So unless you can, I don't talk about things that I don't think will be funny. I talk about things that I know will be funny.
That's really good. The Hulu, Netflix, that cracked me up. Good. That was good. Sean, what about you? Do you find like you're bummed out about stuff and you're like, how can I be funny? Because that happens to me. I'm like, I don't even want to do this live stream sometimes, which is mostly just one miserable, depressing topic after another, because I'm depressing myself and probably the audience as well.
I try not to actually pay attention to a lot of things that are going on. Kind of just like stay a little oblivious.
The boy world.
What's global warming?
Yeah. Like, I'm aware
what's all this
people that are outside of America aren't happy with each other right now, and they're fighting or some shit. I get that. And I wish them well, and they need to stop it, get their act together, and stop playing around and being silly. Go ahead and shake hands, or,
rock, paper, scissor it out.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissor it out. You know what I'm saying? Or find a way to share. Have they ever thought about sharing,
Rock, paper, Gaza.
Yeah.
That is a really good solution, actually.
Yeah. Everybody has to learn to love. They got to learn to love. So in the meantime, I'll still be talking about my things, because I don't talk about any true controversial things anyways, unless like someone's like asking about it. But
do you get hecklers then? Do you get like hecklers?
I'm just not trying to find the full funny in the politics necessarily. I'm not like, oh, Joe Biden can't even grab his own cock and say a speech at the same time, So, yeah.
You saw my set.
Sorry.
I mean, Liz, you're very political.
You stole my joke.
Liz is a very political comic, and that's how we met, was through politics. So I guess that's an issue that you have to deal with. By the way, just wanted to say
I'm
one
in
more
therapy
time.
for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why some of us do this, is just so we don't have to go to therapy or what have you. But there it is, Anacostia Comedy this Sunday, 7 p.m. And there's no link, right? It's just it's low tech. There's no
show up. You gotta know somebody.
You pull out your 20 and you hand it to the door person, and then you go on in and you laugh for a couple hours.
You can use Cash App.
What's better?
I mean, you will be able to pay Cash App or Venmo. I mean, they're pretty. I mean, they have. We'll do that.
Is there food? Is there drink? I assume there's drink, right? You got to lube
It's
up the audience.
$20 at the door. There are drinks.
There are drinks available.
Bring your own bud. It's old school underground DC style party.
Gotcha.
Nama Blaze will be in the house.
Nama Blaze in the house.
Nama Blaze will be in the house.
That's a dope sweatshirt. I love the cover.
All right, and Liz, I want to thank you for bringing Sean and Haywood here. That was awesome.
What?
He's making a sale at the same time.
I want all your merch. You know that. I
we'll
think
let
you're
you guys.
a brilliant
we'll
artist.
do that off the air, maybe, guys. But
that's what you do after the show. You sell merch. Tell people I'm gonna get up at my table outside.
You can do a lot. There's a lot going on. There'll be a lot going on at 2018 MLK Southeast, just across the river there, near the stadium.
Thanks
I think near the yard.
Black Egyptian DC.
And we act. Liz, again, thanks so much. Final word from you, and then we're going to call it a day.
I love you guys, and Hal, you're very funny, and I always look for that. Thank you for making me laugh a lot.
I appreciate all of you very much. I look forward to seeing you this Saturday, Haywood and Sean, on another occasion. Liz, every time. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow for the free-for-all. Thanks again, lady and gents.
Yeah. Peace. Namas Blaze.
Nama Blaze.